This is Natural Selection 2.1 Claim Evidence and Reason Card. And I did the split screen app so that you can see both at the same time. And this is how I would suggest doing it if you can. The directions for the sim are on slide number 2, and I've hyperlinked the sim to where it says Natural Selection Simulation. So once you do that, you're going to sign in like you normally would, and it will open the simulation for you. So follow the directions that are given. Your goal is to gather evidence to support or refute the claim that reproduction always creates adaptive traits. And that is the question that we started off with our warm-up today. So now you're going to look for evidence to either support or refute that claim. So open the natural selection simulation, that's this one, and open the mode reproductive claims. So click on the bars in the corner here and change it to reproductive claims and then hit yes. Okay. Press run to complete the database table on Amplify. I actually put the database table on slides 4 and 5, so I should change that on slides 4 and 5. Okay, you are going to want to slow it down. So a lot of times I tell you to speed up the sim, speed up the sim. This time don't speed up the sim because you want to slow it down and pause the sim carefully to observe traits after reproduction. Reset the sim between trials. If the australope you're following gets eaten before it reproduces, select and follow a similar australope. Okay, so those are the directions. We've got our sim up and ready to go. I've got my claim on slide 3. Claim reproduction always creates individuals with adaptive traits, and then we're just looking for at least 3 pieces of evidence from the sim to support or refute that claim. On slide, there goes my lights. On slide number 4, this is where you can see the setup, and I'll extend it a little bit more. I've given you the color traits on the side. They're hard to see, sorry, for each one. Okay. And so it says australopes with non-adaptive traits. Select and follow an australope that does not blend into the environment, one of the non-adaptive trait colors. Just do this for a second. Ta-da. Okay, so if I'm going to follow an australope with a non-adaptive trait, we have to check what is our surface color because that will help us figure out what the adaptive trait is. And it says surface color is number 7, which means our adaptive trait is trait number 7. So I'm going to pick any australope that is not yellow 7, right? And then it says follow the australope until it reproduces, pause the sim, and observe the recorded color trait of both parents and offspring. So I'm going to first zoom in because I want to be able to make sure that I grab an australope that does not match. And I've got yellow right there. If you click on it, it will indicate what the color trait is there. So this is yellow number 9. That's not an adaptive trait because it's not yellow 7. So I'm going to click on it so that I can follow it, and I'm going to run the simulation. I picked a bad one because now he's eaten. So I'm going to pick a different one. Here I've got color trait number 1. That one is fleeing, and it just went into carnithorns. Okay. Now I got number 5. Oop, it's reproducing. So I have to pause because my first parent trait was number 5. So I'm going to grab... This doesn't show up well on yours because I did that split screen thing. Sorry. I'm going to grab trait number 5, which is here. So the first parent is number 5. And then go back to the simulation. That was number 5. This one is number 7. So my number 5 actually mated with a number 7. My original one was not number 7, but the second one is. So I'm going to put my 7 here. You can drag and drop. And then where's that little baby? Where's the offspring? Ooh, I actually didn't get to see the offspring. I'll have to pick a different one. Let's try this one. All right, number 1. That's a number 5. So my number 5 is running around. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot of australopes here. Here's a number 1. Whew, gotta be fast. Okay, looking for food, look for mate, look for mate. Found a mate. All right, I'm gonna have to change this because my first ones didn't work out. They died. That's what happens sometimes with science, is it doesn't always work out. So I've got number 1. cool thing about these is since they're drag and drop, it's easy just to move around and manipulate. And that number 1 is mating with a number 3. Perfect. So here's my number 3. And then you got to watch closely to find that little baby. Ready, go. There's a little baby. There it is. And pause. So my baby ends up with a color trait of number 1. So I'm just going to control copy, control C, and then control V to get trait number 1. So a number 1 and a number 3, 2 non-adaptive traits, produced a number 1. That's also an adaptive trait. They suggest resetting the sim in between so that your population numbers are high enough. So I'm going to zoom in and let's see if I can get a green one this time. Here's a number 6. Let's follow that number 6. He's eating. He found a mate. Pause. When it does find a mate, like grab onto it. Okay. So I've got a number 6 this time, and it is mating with a number 8. Cool. I haven't done that combination yet. And now we got to look for that baby. There's the baby. Ooh, grew fast. And the result was a number 8. So here I have 2 non-adaptive traits, and when they mate, their offspring is also non-adaptive. Okay. So now I can go back up to my evidence card 3 and put some evidence in here. And you can say like what colors they were. You could just say two, spell things right, 2 non-adaptive traits reproduced non-adaptive traits. That's the evidence I got from the sim. Fairly simply, 2 non-adaptive traits, which means that this claim is refuted. But now what happens if I go to slide number 5 and I use adaptive traits? So now I'm going to reset it, and I am only going to pick australopes that are yellow number 7. So it might take a little bit of time because there's a 10, there's a 9. You've got to figure out where's that sweet spot of number 7. So before I run it, I want to back up, and it's a little bit hard to find them because they do blend in with the environment. 2, 3, alive. Oh, it's alive. So I'm going to zoom in. 9, 6. What if I click on my australopes? Does that help me find a 7? It doesn't. So make sure you're on max variation. And now I may have to pause this to find a number 7. There's a 7. All right. So now I'm going to run it. Let's see what happens to this number 7. He's eating. Oh, reproducing. Okay. That was quick. So a 7 is reproducing with a 5. You're going to do the same thing where you drag and drop. A 7 is reproducing with a 5. So now I've got one with an adaptive trait, that's number 7, and one with a non-adaptive trait, and that's number 5. And then we got to grab that baby as soon as there it is. And the offspring is 5. So in the first trial, it shows that non-adaptive trait did not carry over, even though one parent was a 5. So then I'm going to do it again. Pop up here, put my evidence, right? 2 more pieces of evidence. I'm going to finish running the sim for 50 generations, and finally at the end, add your screenshot here to discuss whether your claim was supported or refuted. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.